Today pertaining to the fact that the Jays would be the best team in baseball right now. I'm just wondering, do you keep tabs on those kind of comments at this point in the series and to make sure no one gets too ahead of themselves, or what do you do?
Adam fills me in on some of these comments, I think anything these guys are saying right now, they've earned, and I think that they truly believe it. It's kind of like when Ernie said, I love our chances in the ALCS when we were down 3-2. I think that's what they genuinely believe, and I love their confidence.
On the back right, Bill.
How's George Springer, and what has he done the last 2 days to get back on the field?
George is feeling better. He's hitting the cage today. You guys probably saw him running outside. He hit off the machine velocity, and we're kind of just seeing how he responds from that. So I think better than he expected to feel, better than we expected him to feel, which is saying a lot. And just trying to juggle right now how he's going to feel in about 30 minutes after doing that stuff, and what's best for him and what's best for the team. So I think if he's not starting, there's a definite chance, if he can pinch hit, I think he'll be ready to do that. So I'm juggling a lot right now to kind of see how everything unfolds and who else it affects. But Georgie's made some significant progress.
Could you talk about what he means to this team, and especially when you miss him in the lineup?
Yeah, he's had an unbelievable year, and I think that he has done a phenomenal job of kind of setting the tone for us, not just at the plate, but kind of in the clubhouse, and keeping tabs on guys. It's been fun to watch him. It's been really fun after a tough year last year for him and us. The production is the production, but I think kind of how he goes about his day-to-day with everyone in there is just as important.
A few rows up, Ben.
Hey, John, just hiding back here. Just wondering with Vladdy, how do you view the idea of protection with him? Like, is it guys ahead of him in the order getting on base so that they can't intentionally walk him, or is it guys behind him to create that threat of damage?
I think it's both. You try to build a lineup to where, guys will be on base for certain guys, and then what is their offensive profile like? Is it contact? Is it damage? I think Vlad is going to be pitched how Vlad is going to be pitched, no matter who's in front or behind him. And guys have done a good job of getting on for him. So that's kind of how we view it. I think guys, if it's Nate hitting in front of him, or if it's Bo hitting, whoever's hitting in front of him, I think they understand that they're probably going to get something to hit. You know what I mean? Because he's standing on deck, and then it is kind of important who's behind him too. You know what I mean? So we've seen the bat be taken out of his hands. So you got to have guys that can do some stuff behind him.
A bit further to your right, Shai.
Hey, John.
Hey.
A couple things. First, with Vladdy, the ability that he's shown throughout the postseason to not chase damage, not try to force a moment, but just be patient. How have you seen that evolve for him? The ability to just kind of hunt the pitch and get it, and not try to expand to try and create something.
I think that he's always kind of been that kind of hitter, and this postseason has been pretty remarkable in terms of power and strikeouts, lack of strikeouts and not a lack of power, so I think it's a good hitter being in a good rhythm, There's always a fine line with. I feel like a lot of people think of Vlad and they think of home runs. I think of Vlad and I think of a hitter that hits the ball so hard he's going to hit it out of the ballpark. So when he's at his best, that's what he's doing.
And last time Tommy Edman hit right-handed against Trey as opposed to left-handed. Just what do you read into that, and how does that maybe change game planning for him? Because you're obviously assuming he's going to be left-handed, but then he's turning around.
Yeah, we weren't sure. I know he's done that before in his career against some righties with kind of similar pitch profile and pitch mix. So we weren't sure what he was going to do. We kind of had a plan A and a plan B. It doesn't change much, but I think it kind of changes where we're positioning everyone. You know what I mean? Because there's not that much batted ball data that says Tommy Edman versus righties. So you're trying to maneuver that as best you can too.
Up front of your left, John.
John, good to see you again.
Likewise.
Maury, the Roz and Mocha Show. We've talked so many times about how incredible Blue Jays fans are, but I didn't know if you knew this, and I want to get your take on this. It is so awesome that back in Toronto, upwards of 30,000 fans are going to Rogers Centre to watch the games on the big screen, and there's the roar of the crowd every time you guys do something awesome. What is your take on how cool that is?
It's pretty remarkable. I've seen the videos, and it's nice that we have a dome, and it's not raining or cold, but to see that, well, I mean, we feel that, you know what I mean? We feel that out here in LA, we understand what it means to the city and the country, and I think it's just remarkable. There's watch parties, and then there's watch parties, that was awesome. We're thrilled that we're going back there to play. We still got to focus on tonight's game, but the fans kind of become a part of you, and you want to kind of do that for them too.
We'll stay here with Daniel.
Thank you. Hi, John.
Hey.
Talking with Bobby Shedd last night, he said that he sees Andres Jimenez as a big game player.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? That's part one. And number two, how proud are you of Andres knowing everything he's been grinding this year with injuries and that he's faced?
Oh, man, I couldn't agree more. I mean, Himmy, I say it about Himmy. To me, this is like the biggest compliment you can give a guy is he's a baseball player. He understands situations of the game. He understands how he can impact it. He's usually always in the right spot, defensively, kind of being the quarterback of the team out there. I've been really, really impressed with him and basically everyone, how invested and locked in they are to every at-bat and what that at-bat means. What do I need to do right now? So for Himmy, man, like when we acquired him, I was thrilled. I've admired him from afar when he was with New York and Cleveland, and I can see why, you know what I mean? And then just getting to know him, not just as a player, but to know him as a husband and a father and a friend and a teammate to these guys. He's so well respected, and he has battled. I mean, multiple injuries, and I think it's really cool that he's coming through in big moments right now because he's such a big part of our team.
The at-bat, like the one he had yesterday with the RBI, would you say that maybe that has been overlooked or overrated?
Yeah, I mean, well,
overrated,
not for me. I mean, I think people go to Vlad's homer as last night's game, right? But that's a part of the game. It's a big swing. And then those games are usually won kind of in the trenches right there when you get a tough reliever coming in and you got to kind of scratch and claw. So it was, to me, underrated at bat. Him and Ernie hitting the double off Ohtani to kind of get that inning going in the right direction.
Mike in the fifth row on your right, John.
Morning, John.
Hey, Mike.
Last night, one of our camera guys saw George moving around in the dugout, getting a helmet on. Was he going to run for Bo in the ninth inning if Bo had gotten on?
There was a scenario, he was going to run depending on kind of how many outs or I think Vlad led that inning off with a single. He was available to run, but just wanted to make sure it was the right time, and did I want to take Bo out? How important was that run? But yeah, he was ready to go.
And just, I know that he's not going to start tonight, but I want to ask you about Nate. You're a career minor leaguer as a player. He was headed that way, right? For him to be 30 and in his first full season in the major leagues finally this year, to be leading off a World Series game last night, like, what does that say about the route he's taken and all the roadblocks along the way that he's been able to overcome?
It's kind of fitting for our team, It's I couldn't be happier for him, really. Just it's a guy that was contemplating retiring, a couple of years ago and has battled injuries and would probably have played every day on our team last year if he was healthy. So for him to stick with it and for him to understand that he's a major league player and believe that until he got his chance is phenomenal. He's like so many of our guys where you just trust the human, and you trust it. I'm sure there's some anxiousness and anxiety and excitement that goes into all these games, but they do a really good job of hiding it, and just, I couldn't be happier for him. I hated when he fouled the ball off his knee in the previous series because it's, he's waited his whole life to get here. So it's going to be, it was going to be tough to take him out of that game, but I'm thrilled for him because he's paid his dues.
We'll stay in the same row with Gabe.
Hey, John.
Hey.
Way back when he started against the Yankees, everybody kind of freaked out like, oh, this is only Trey's fourth major league start period. Now it seems almost normal in a sense. Like, has he just folded into what you guys do, and is it just, hey, it's his turn, give him the ball and get out of the way?
Yeah, I think it probably took him a time through the rotation to kind of feel comfortable and to kind of get acclimated to the major leagues and conversations with veteran pitchers and veteran players. But I think we've done a really good job of creating that environment for people to come in, whether it's Trey or whether it's guys at the trade deadline or guys coming up from the minor leagues. So he's been awesome. He's really kind of fit in, and I think that very quickly earned the respect of everyone on the team.
Does it seem like he's a little less wide-eyed from that afternoon he went out to face the Yankees to now?
Yeah, I didn't think he was very wide-eyed then. I didn't think he was very wide-eyed in his major league debut, albeit at a minor league stadium. But I think that he's gotten better with kind of the flow of everything, the prep, the adjustments you have to make. He's been impressive with whether it's talking to you guys or out there on the mound competing. He's got a very good headspace.
Fifth row on your left, Rowan.
John, when you guys moved Bassitt to the pen, what was that conversation like with him, and how have you seen him embrace that role?
Yeah, the initial one kind of was, we leave him off the DS roster. That was kind of more physical, right? He was coming off an injury, and Chris is so great. The conversation was easy. It was, you're going to pitch out of the pen because we know you can be flexible. And he said, I don't care if you start me, I don't care if you close me, I don't care where you pitch me, I just want to pitch. So he's really gone up, in the circle of trust, if you will. His first outing was kind of a nondescript. We were down against Seattle, but I think he's earned the right to be in any spot. You know what I mean? It's not easy to do, but I think at this stage of the season, man, you just kind of trust people. Chris has been one of our best pitchers for 3 years, and we trust that the routine that is different won't affect him, and he's throwing the ball extremely well.
Dave in the third row on your right.
John, Max said a few days ago that Chris was a big recruiter of him to come here. And just how much has Bassitt kind of been a part of the fabric of this team, and how has that helped him, you think, translate into the role you asked him to do even this fall, just because he's so all in to
it was such a unique offseason last year for us, kind of knowing where we were going to be. Certain people, certain players, certain everything, right? And I think conversations that we had with Chris, were very, very important. They were productive, and I think kind of getting everyone going in the same direction, that probably helped him explain to Max what was going on here. But yeah, Chris has been a voice on this team for the entire time he's been here, and continues to be one even though he's in the bullpen, But he is. Our team is they're very similar, where they're very selfless. They don't care about if it's one guy one night or another guy another night. But Chris really exemplifies that. He'll do anything for the guys.
Ron in the second row.
Why do you think in the last year or so we've seen such a revival of use of splitters?
I think going back a few years, I think certain people thought they couldn't throw it. They couldn't actually get their fingers wide enough. And I think, like anything, pitch design, has changed. And I think guys have figured out different ways to grip it. Like Gauze is different than Trey's. Trey's is different than Sir Anthony's. Yariel's is different than, they all hold it a little bit differently. So I think pitchers have gotten to the point to where they understand that pitch works against certain swing types that are pretty prevalent in the league, and they've figured out ways to kind of manipulate to get the same action.
Do two more on the sixth row on your right.
Hey, John. I know Max kind of puts his headphones on around this time. Shane's kind of chatty as usual. What is Trey like for these kind of 2 hours before a start?
He's pretty boring, he's usually playing cards with the guys, but I think once he kind of meets with Pete and the catchers, he's just very boring. He's very calm. You guys probably see him in between innings. Kind of takes a deep breath, kind of trying to stay present with where he's at. He's pretty boring, I guess is the best way to say it. Kind of just goes about his routine. He'll talk to guys. He won't bite their head off if they're trying to ask him a question or something like that, but he's just pretty steady.
And have you thought about, given this ride for Trey, that his next regular season start could be the 4th day of the season against, I don't know who you guys play, but what that is going to be like after all of this kind of build for him, and then he's just going to be starting regular season.
Yeah, it's going to be a big letdown. You know, he's going to. I've been saying that regular season is going to be boring for me now. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's wild. You know what I mean? Just to throw a guy in where we did and to have bigger and bigger games every time he pitches has been pretty wild. So we'll think about that next year, but want him to stay focused on what he's doing.
One row ahead. We're going to do 2 last quick ones because I know we're at time, but go ahead.
Hi, John.
Hey.
Darby Schneider and Arnie Kremen said Scherzer is helping them out, in the dugout, and also his competitiveness and also fighting spirit.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of impact on Scherzer presence have on the team?
It goes a long way because he's been here quite a bit in this stage. Max talks to everyone, position players, pitchers, me, Pete, Donnie, DeMarlo. In his words, Max always says, I've navigated these landmines a lot and I know what to expect. I've stepped on landmines and I've avoided them. So I think that whatever situation may pop up in these games, he's very, very open to talking about it with everyone. And it's just a calming presence to have for our younger players. I think him and George really come into play here where they've been in these moments, and no matter if you're down 2-0 or down 3-0, how things can change, and just stay focused on what you're doing.
And we'll go far back with Bradford.
John, there's been a lot of attention paid to the ability of your hitters to avoid strikeouts. And of course, this comes at a time in the industry where the last few years there's been a lot of talk about ways to get more balls in play in general. And from your perspective, how much intention was there to craft that style of offense for your team? And how much influence do you think that can have given the amount of success that you've had?
Yeah, we tried to thread the needle a little bit with that, going from last year to this year, understanding that our main guys make a lot of contact. Bo, Vlad, Kirky, George, there's guys with different profiles. So we leaned into it a little bit, and I think at the same time, you don't want to just, I always call it just playing ping pong, you know what I mean? I think last year was pretty similar in terms of contact rate, maybe a little bit lower, but last year we talked about kind of doing a little bit more damage and what kind of quality of contact are we going to have. So threading the needle, I think, and Pop and Lou and Hunter have been instrumental in it. It's kind of like, we say it all the time, what club do you take out of your bag? You know what I mean? I think last year we had a lot of guys just hanging out with a 7-iron the entire time, you know what I mean? So when to use that, when to use a driver, and knowing that they can make contact is kind of a little safety net for them. So in terms of how baseball goes forward, to me, pitching is so good these days with the stuff and the velo, everything. You have to be able to put the ball in play. You have to put pressure on the defense and the pitcher. So I like that we can do it in a variety of ways.
All right, John, thanks so much. Best of luck tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So Chris Bassitt will be down at 3:15, and Kevin Gausman will be down at 3:30.
As the ask for you has changed to pitch out of the bullpen as opposed to being a starting pitcher, how has that impacted your preparation? You know, getting ready for 2 games in a row, potentially getting ready for 3 games in a row. Is your routine different?
Yeah, I can't mess around with the starters and have a rally beer and things like that anymore, so that stinks. But I love it. I love being around the guys. It's very, very different. Obviously, not really understanding the bullpen guys and what makes them go, and having conversations with them and seeing them do their preparation and their work. It's just we don't ever overlap. So now getting to see what they go through and what they do and how many times the phone rings and things like that, it's cool. It's cool to see both sides.
John Schneider has said many times that you do weird well. Like this, are you having fun with this? Is it, I mean, seemingly it would be a lot of pressure, but are you enjoying it as well?
Yeah, I mean, again, I just look back to 2022 and I just prayed many, many, many times to get back in this moment. Obviously, the World Series was the biggest goal, but at the end of the day, it was just like, give me one more chance. Like, whatever that means, give me one more chance. And sure as heck, we got it. So I'm just trying to have fun in the moment. I'm not trying to go crazy. I'm not trying to be World Series MVP or anything. That's Vladdy and George and all those guys' job to win. But overall, I'm just trying to be me. And whatever they need out of that, I'm willing to do.
One row ahead to Shy.
Hey, Chris. As you've watched Vladdy over the course of this month take his at-bats, just from a pitcher's perspective, the way you think of things from your vantage point, how have you seen him control at-bats, and how does that impact pitchers who are trying to attack him?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've talked about this yesterday, I believe. It all blends in together, I'm sorry. But there's so many games throughout the year. And the reality is Vladdy's going to probably play every single day unless he really needs a day off. So sometimes we have an understanding that Vladdy's going to go 75%, or Dalton Varsho in center field, who's ran 4 miles that game kind of thing, is going to go 75%. So we might give up a double, or Vladdy might not be able to go first to third, and then his at-bats might be, hey, I'm going for singles and doubles. But then all of a sudden, Vladdy's kind of able to turn it into 100%. I'm going full go, and this is kind of what we expect. He doesn't try to do too much, but when he's going full go, man, I don't know there's many players in the world that I'd rather have than him. So I would say it's just the time of year. You have everyone seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, of we have 3 games left. Obviously, playoff start. We don't know when we're going home or how we're going home or whatever it may be. So it's just you get everyone's best effort. So, yeah, very happy to have Vladdy on our team.
I'll stay in that same row with Rob.
Hey, Chris. Opposite question to Ben's about preparation. What about recovery in this role? And how fresh is your arm after pitching 2 innings?
Yeah, I feel good. The good Lord blessed me with not getting too sore. I'm I'm hypermobile when it comes to everything, so it's not so much soreness, it's more so fatigue. But it's the World Series. I don't think fatigue is going to be much of an issue, so I feel good. What that means for our team, we'll see. But overall, the next 3 games, I'll be ready to throw.
The second row, your left, Chris. Ron.
In the recovery, are you doing anything differently with ice and the electric stimulation and the red light machines?
Luckily for us, we basically have every option, and I'm probably using every option, along with a lot of the other old guys on our team. So yeah, I mean, you name it, we're using it. So
different pitching every day than what you would?
No, it's just I have to use it every day. Like for the most part, like recovery-wise, like for me personally, it's cardio and recovery the day after I start, and then overall I feel pretty good. Now it turns into an everyday thing, so it's just more that I have to do, but at the end of the day, it's okay.
And you mentioned rally beard. What was the genesis of that?
Baseball. Everyone does that, I think.
No, this season, was it specific or?
No, that's been going on way before I was born, I'm sure. So yeah, it's just whenever the offense needs a run, we're going to have one. Unfortunately, I can't now.
Across the aisle to your right, Mike.
Chris, when you say you regretted everything about that 2022 start with the Mets, what specifically, should you have done differently, or how could you have approached it differently?
Yeah, I just felt like I tried to do way too much. Coming from Oakland, and yeah, I know I made postseason starts, and I've pitched in the postseason, but then you look back and it was like, no, it was COVID, and then it was just different. And then you threw me into New York, and I thought I was ready. Then looking back, I was like, dang, I wasn't ready for it. Like mentally, I didn't really know how to prepare for it. Physically, I did not like where I was at in that moment. So a lot of the times, anything in life, your biggest failures, or whatever you think your failure is probably your biggest teaching lesson, if you just look at it the right way. So, I know Max has made a ton of adjustments to his stuff. Gauzy, me and him talk all the time about what he's doing. Shane going through TJ, George going through his stuff. Like, you can go up and down our whole entire roster of just us talking to each other about how we need to approach the game and how we need to get our bodies ready and don't make these type of mistakes and things like that. So just being there, understanding it, and failing will teach you a lot. And like I said, you just have to listen.
We'll stay there with Dave.
Hey, Chris. Max said a few days ago that you were a big part of recruiting him to come here. So do you, because you're a little bit of an older player now, do you see yourself when you're part of an organization to be that kind of guy? At least if you're asked about it, or, do you feel like you have more to give like that off the field to just kind of help what a good team should look like, or the kind of players to bring in to do that?
Yeah, I'm not that type of person to ever go to like Ross Mark or anybody else and say, hey, we need to go with this guy. But they called me about Max, and then obviously I realized they were going after him, and then I went after him really hard. Yeah, I was calling him a lot, probably a little too much for his liking, but at the end of the day, I knew what Max brings to a team, and I think there's a lot of teams that don't like Max Scherzer's just because he questions everything. Like he wants to know every little detail, from outfield positioning to why you're throwing this pitch to who's playing here to how we control off days. And so many organizations, I feel like, don't like to answer questions. They like you to be a robot and say yes sir and go about your business. But that's not how Max is. So in knowing that, I thought this is kind of exactly what this organization needs. Like we need a veteran player that questions everything, because I think the more and more you talk through things from a player standpoint to a front office, the better the team is, because then the team buys in. The team understands what's going on, or why these moves are being made, or things like that. So yeah, I told Ross, this is going to be a headache for you having Max Scherzer. And then I told the pitching staff about him, and I told the coaching staff, like, this is a guy that's going to stir a lot of pots. But everyone was on board for it. I give full credit to Ross and Mark and all those in our entire front office, just saying this is what we need, this is what we want. So everyone looked at Max, the 41-year-old that might end up on the IL a couple times, and they don't understand the true value of having that veteran guy that knows what it takes to win, and then he might teach you a thing or two along the way too.
Do a couple last quick ones because Kevin is here. Rowan on your left.
Okay. Hey, Chris. Oh, over here. Bullpen units are generally pretty tight-knit groups. I'm curious what sort of the process, especially after a full year, I'm curious what the process has been like, kind of meshing with that group, and sort of how you're spending your time during games.
Yeah, I would say for the most part your answer would be, your question would be correct in the aspect of bullpens are tight-knit, but we just have something a little bit different here, where I kind of walked into a bunch of friends that I've already had, so I already kind of constantly am messing around with them, talking crap to them, things like that, hanging out with them off the field. So it wasn't so much of me coming into like a new team or kind of thing, so to speak. I knew all these guys, I knew what they do, understand who they are as people. So it was more so like, hey, like I'm here to help y'all, whatever that means. Same with Lauer. Let's just go win. It don't really matter who does what. Like, I don't care about your stats. Let's go win.
I'll finish quickly with Mike on your right.
With Max, whether you think you are knowing him or not, he gives you a lot of credit for being one of the reasons why he's here. You guys weren't teammates very long. How did you form that level of bond that you could influence him so much?
Yeah. Lou Trevino, I'm really good friends with Lou Trevino, and obviously played with him in Oakland. Lou and Max live really close to each other in the off season, so they know each other. And Lou called me after he signed him. He said, "Hey, like, I'm sorry." When I went to New York, and he was like, "Hey, like, you two are either gonna love each other or hate each other. There's not gonna be any in between. Like, you guys are way too similar." So, luckily for me, he's one of my best friends. I'll be best friends with him for a long time. So. When I realized that they were going after one of my best friends, I was like, man, like, I need one more crack at this with you. Like, we didn't get the job done in 22, but damn, like, if there's any guy, like obviously Gauzy's now on that list, and Berrios and things like that, but if there's anybody that I want to win a World Series with, I want to win with Max.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin, thanks so much for coming in. Who has the first question? We will start with Mike on your right.
Kevin, we just heard Chris almost welling up when he talked about being best friends with Max Scherzer. I know he's in the bullpen now, Bassitt, but it feels like this whole rotation, this whole pitching staff, this whole team has this really unique closeness and bond. Obviously, if we're talking about best friends, that's a different thing. But over your 4 years here, how has that developed, and what have you seen change to get the team to the point where it is now as far as that clubhouse is working?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the first word that comes to mind is respect. You know, I think we all have a level of respect for each other and what each guy has been through to get to the point where we're at now. You know, obviously Max is, you know, at a different level than everybody else, you know, if you look at the accolades and whatnot. But honestly, just a lot of veteran pitchers. You know, we've had some young guys kind of sprinkled in there the last couple of years, but really it's kind of been the old guys, you know, and we kind of take pride in being able to go out against some of these young guys and pitch better than them, you know. And so I think, you know, we just kind of relish the opportunity to go out and continue to kind of go against the grain of everybody thinking maybe, you know, these guys don't have it anymore or whatnot, you know. So really, since I've been here, you know, the starting rotation has been really close. We all watch each other work, we watch each other's bullpens, and I think that adds to that respect.
When we got here to LA, nobody knew where this series was going to wind up, whether it was going to go back. What does it mean to you to be able to get the ball pitching again in a World Series game in Toronto, potentially with a chance to wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. Rogers Center is going to be fun. It's going to be electric. It's going to be everything that it has been for the last month and probably more, you know. So we're excited to get back there. Obviously, we're really good at home, so we feel confident playing in front of our own team. You know, the fans there have been awesome, especially lately. They bring the energy. They pick us up when we need it. And so, you know, yeah, obviously coming here was the goal to get back to Toronto.
A bit further back to your right, Rob.
Hey, Kevin, you've talked many times about when you were a free agent and considering options and how much research you put into it and what made you decide upon Toronto. Now, it's taken a little while to get to this point, but what really attracted you to the team in terms of the direction you felt it was headed at the time?
I mean, I've said it before, but after the 21 season, I believe they had the best offense in baseball. So being a starting pitcher, that's, you know, you like that. So looking at that, it was kind of, all right, that might be fun to pitch for them. You know, I've played in the AL East the majority of my career, so I know what Toronto is like on the visiting side. Unfortunately, I've been a part of, you know, 2016, Edwin ended our season, and I've seen that fan base, you know, at its highest level that I know of, and now even more so. So it's exciting to be a part of this, you know, the first World Series in 32 years. And it's more exciting that we're going back to Toronto and able to play in front of our home fans.
6 rows back on your left, Gabe.
Hey, Kevin. You've been around for the facility buildup this organization's had both north and south of the border. What do you think the impact will be on this playoff run, regardless of outcome, with regard to the organization further kind of planting its flag and becoming even more of a destination for players and otherwise?
Yeah, I mean, I think you really got to look at, you know, our head honchos for turning Rogers Center into, you know, what I always thought was a great place to play, but now as a fan, I mean, you come to watch a game there, I don't know how many different bars we have in there. There's live music everywhere you can go, great food options. I mean, it's kind of turned into a big party, so it's a lot of fun. But, you know, on the other side, I think when I first signed here, I saw the talent, and everybody talked about the talent. We've always had the talent since I've been here, so it's nice to kind of get to a point where that talent is kind of matured into being one of the last 2 teams, and so that's really exciting. I hope free agents can kind of open their eyes a little bit at the fact that, I mean, if you're watching this series and you watch the games in Toronto, I mean, why wouldn't you want to play there? You know, the fan base is incredible. They love their athletes. So if you're looking at our spring training complex, I think we have the best one in baseball, you know. So really our new clubhouse in Toronto is, you know, I don't know if there's many above it. So, you know, there's a lot to like, and now we're in that conversation of being one of the best 2 teams.
Second row, your left, Kev, Ron.
After being one of the few splitter pitchers for the first half of your career, why do you think so many people in the last few years are sort of following you and developing that pitch?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'd necessarily say they're following me. There was a lot of guys way before me that had really good splits. But I think, honestly, I think there's so many good pitches in today's game. You know, there's so many good sweepers and sliders and cutters. I think the split is almost kind of just a little bit different of an animal. You know, you can recognize the spin and you can still have a pretty ugly swing on it if the metrics are right. So it's kind of one of the few pitches I thoroughly believe a hitter can know it's coming and still get out. You know, I've always felt like the changeup is the best pitch in the game because it looks like a fastball, and anything that looks like a fastball and isn't is really good. So I think that's why the split has kind of made a turn to, you're seeing a lot more guys do it, and, you know, I'm happy to see a lot more starters do it because it was always kind of more of a reliever pitch, you know. So to me, it's exciting to see, you know, guys like Yamamoto throw it a lot, you know, and it's a hard pitch to control, and sometimes you don't need to, but it definitely helps if you can. I mean, it's definitely my kind of bread and butter and the reason why I'm here, to be honest. So, you know, I'm definitely pro split.
Do you think during the World Series how different your life and career would be if you hadn't been at Grand Canyon that day and run into Chris Brown?
What's that?
Do you think how different your pitching and your career would be if you hadn't been working out at Grand Canyon that day and run into Chris Brown?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. You know, it's, I mean, everybody's career here is unique in their own right. You know, I've had definitely my ups and downs over the course of my career, but I've always believed in myself and really believed in that pitch, and it's only got better the more I've thrown it.
Thanks.
Take a couple last ones, Mike.
Speaking of everyone's career being different, I wanted to ask you about Nathan Lucas. You were a first-round pick. You were in the big leagues at 22. He was a guy who really grinded and didn't get a lot of opportunities. And this is his first full season in the major leagues at 30. And there he was yesterday as the leadoff man in a World Series game, and maybe again in Game 7. And I see you're starting to smile. Like, what does that mean when someone like that, who's been through that, can get there?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's a testament to him and his belief in himself. I know he thought about not playing anymore, and now, like you said, he's leading off in the World Series for a team and an organization that hasn't been here in a long time. So, pretty cool for him.
What does it mean that all these guys who, not much was expected from this year, whether it's him or whether it's Ernie or Barger, have sort of banded together to form this offense that has taken you guys this far? It's almost like an overlooked crew beyond the big guys.
Yeah, I think honestly, if you watch like the second half of last year, I feel like all those guys kind of made huge adjustments, and it kind of going into the off season, it was, we can maybe rely on this guy to really take a big jump, and some guys have more than others, but man, everybody has contributed this year, and it's been a different guy every game. So that's what's been most fun for me to watch is, we have the big name guys, but it's those other guys that are really kind of setting the table for those guys and coming up with big hits and playing out of position, and it's just been a lot of fun to be a part of.
One last one for Kev, if there is. All right, Kev, best of luck to you guys tonight. Thank you. That concludes today's pregame.